Hello, friends. I'm Yogesh, father of a wonderful son and husband to a beautiful superwoman. I started my journey as a HR manager turned B school professor and now NLP coach, trainer, author, and public speaker. I did my NLP practitioner from American Board of NLP, moved on, did my new code NLP practitioner certified by Dr. John Grinder, moved on to become NLP Master Practitioner from Dr. Richard Bandler, London, and finally became Certified NLP Trainer from the Tad James Company, AB NLP, USA. Friends, all this I could achieve because of my passion in the area of human upliftment and growth. To achieve this, I traveled several countries in four different continents, and the journey still continues. My mission is to make positive changes in the lives of people by providing them right mindset, by making them aware how they can use their mind and brain so that they can achieve their goal. My goal and my mission is to make you achieve your goal, to make your dream come true. So, all right, today we are going to have a session on excuses to excitement. And my dear friends, why this particular topic came to me, there is no specific topic like this in any NLP or management opportunity as such. But while reading, due to lockdown, the reading has significantly increased. And what I am doing, that I am gaining as much knowledge as possible. So while reading, I came across with these three beautiful concepts, and then I thought, why not to share this concept with all my fellow participants? And that is the reason this particular webinar I am going to have, which is talking about excuses to excitement. So many of you who know me, they know me well. Some of the participants I could see are my friends, and some are my colleagues in my previous organizations. I could see some people who are my participants of my NLP practitioner or master practitioner batches. So welcome you all. For those people who don't know me, I'm Yogesh. I'm here as a trainer and coach of NLP, and I'm here to connect with you. I would like to share my knowledge and I would like to give you some insights. That is the only reason I am here. So let's begin. This is going to be a short, small 1 hour session or maybe less than that, but significantly there would be some improvement in the mind shift of all those listeners. So, coming to the first quote of the very famous personality Jim Rohn, excuses are the nails used to build a house of failure. So, my dear friends, what exactly we are going to cover and why this particular topic came, as I told you, it is because of I could see so many people are giving multiple excuses, and these excuses are not for their work or their bosses or to their organizations, but these excuses are basically for even themselves. There are people who are giving excuses that I can't do exercise, or I don't have time to study, or I don't have time to read, or I don't have time to do this, or I don't have resources, or I don't have money. So as a human being, many people are, very expert in giving excuses. But as here the great personality Jim Rohn is saying that they are the nails used to build a house of failure. So my dear friends, if at all you are building a house of failure, that is, you want to have a museum of failure, your life as a museum of failure, then it is always better to give excuses. uh, Before starting, I also would like you to be aware that at times I will be saying certain things which may pinch you, due to which you may feel bad, you may feel unhappy, and that is how it is. because it is a kind of realization which you will be doing, and that's the reason we will be sharing certain things, and we also will be doing some introspection. So let's understand what's on the menu today. I use this particular word because I could see lots of uh, WhatsApps and Facebook and stuff like that flooded with people doing multiple recipes and multiple menus. So I also thought, why not to use the same thing and let people be aware about what's the menu for the day. So today we are going to have a three-course menu. The first course is about the time management. Second is about decision making, and third is about procrastination. Now, this three-course menu, we are going to enjoy a shorter version of all these things. These topics are pretty big in them itself. Due to the time constraint, just 1 hour I will be having with you. So within that, whatever best possible, I will be giving. Later on, if you would like to connect, you always can connect with me. So let's move on for the first thing, managing time using 25-5 rules. Now, managing time is a topic which I have chosen, but personally, those who have attended my seminars and lectures, I never use this particular word managing time, because I always believe that it is not the time which we have to manage, but it is those priorities which we need to manage. The time is fixed, we cannot manage the time. A time is a static concept, it is a fixed concept, we simply can't manage it. What we can manage is we can manage our priorities. That is always my take. You have got 20 minutes. In those 20 minutes you can either watch a YouTube video or Facebook or WhatsApp, or you can do some reading which can enhance your knowledge. In the same 20 minutes you can do exercise, or you can sit and relax at home. So it is all about what is your priority. It is nothing about I have time or I don't have time. So here we are going to understand the principles of time management. What are those principles and how we can make use of all these things. Whatever is there, you can always chat. If you are having any particular problem, if you are having any particular thing, you can always chat me. I can see those things and then I can reply. So moving ahead, managing time, I would like to ask few questions if you belong to this category. As I said, there is nothing. If you wish, you can always type yes, this yes, I belong to this particular category. Or if you don't want to say yes, you want to say yes to yourself, that is perfectly fine. But if you want to say yes openly, let everybody be aware that yes, you belong to this particular category, a person who always unfinished to-do list at the end of the day. At the starting of the day you have got lot of to-do list, and at the end of the day even half of the list is not been completed, or you have got too much on platter and you cannot focus on a task at hand, or are you the one who feel guilty about spending time doing nothing, or you tried many things but nothing worked out. Many a times it so happened that you feel guilty about spending time doing nothing, and then you feel, oh my god, I spent so many hours doing nothing and I could have done this, wish I could have done that. And then that guilt prevails you, and that guilt further takes you down. Rather going to upward spiral, you go to the downward spiral because you are feeling guilty about doing nothing. So if you belong to this any of this particular category, then you are most welcome. I'm going to give you some fundamental principle by which you can reduce the guilt, by which you can do the task, and by which you can enjoy your time and doing those things. So the principle which I am going to share with you is known as Pomodoro technique. Now, what is Pomodoro technique? Pomodoro is not an English word, it is an Italian word because the technique is originated from Italy, and in Italy Pomodoro means tomato. Now you might be wondering why there is a tomato and what is tomato doing with time management. So this technique basically got invented by Francisco Cirillo, and what he did that he used a alarm clock which was shaped like tomato, and that is why he gave name of this technique as a Pomodoro technique, which is a tomato technique. This fellow is, as a profession, he is an engineer and a very famous personality in Italy. The same technique, if you want to see on his website, he is selling uh, the same technique and he is sharing his knowledge at some cost around 87 euros or something. So that roughly becomes 8 to 9,000 rupees, and that is a 3 hours class which you need to do, and then you learn this particular technique. I'm going to give a gist of this technique. So what he says, he also was frustrated with lot of things, that things are not happening the way he want to happen and stuff like that. And that is the reason what he did. He developed this particular technique. There are 6 steps. There are 6 steps by which we can do this particular technique. And what are those 6 steps? Let's understand one by one. The first thing is that you need to identify the task which you want to do. So there are so many tasks which we want to do in the daytime or maybe during the month or during the year or whatever it is. So first and foremost is you need to identify what all I need to do. So let's take example of daily tasks. I want to do certain things on daily basis. So let me understand what are my daily tasks. And then as I understand my daily task, then the second thing is that you decide that I would like to do. Say for example, uh, if I say that reading book, reading 100 pages in a day, the moment I say that you have to read 100 pages in a day, you may feel too much of things, that how can I read 100 pages? It is going to be a tough task. So for that, what you need to do, according to this technique, Francisco said that you set a timer of 25 minutes. So the moment you start, say you start at 9 o'clock, so 9 to 9:25, these 25 minutes you dedicate for that particular activity only. And then you work without any distraction. For these 25 minutes, just work on that particular activity without any distraction. There would be lot of WhatsApp messages, there would be lot of Facebook pops, there would be emails coming in, there would be some phone calls coming in, there would be even a family member or an office colleague coming in, let's go for a cup of tea or something like that. Do nothing. This 25 minutes only focus on the task at hand. All the other things can wait, and you only have to focus for 25 minutes. After that, what you need to do, after that, once these 25 minutes are over, take a pause and tick mark. I'm going to show you the sheet which is been used for this particular technique, so that you can also use the same sheet for yourself. After the task is over, then take a 5 minutes break. The moment the task is over, take a 5 minutes break, move around, maybe have a cup of tea, coffee, or do some physical activity which will make you bit more active. The reason behind this 5 minutes is that our energy level continuously goes up and down. If you sit for a longer duration, you might have experienced this, that you are sitting for a longer duration. What happens? You feel bored, you feel lethargic, and after a certain period of time, there is a increase in your weight and stuff like that. So here, what we are going to do, we are going to make active use of our body and taking a break of 5 minutes, and then you move on to the next activity. Now 25 minutes, 5 minutes, 25 minutes, 5 minutes. You have to do this for 4 sprints. And then after the fourth sprint, take a longer break of say 15 to 30 minutes and then start again. Here you could see Pomodoro 1, 2, 3. I'm taking 25, 5, 25, 5, 25, 5, and Pomodoro 4, I'm taking 25 and maybe 15 or 30 minutes break. Now, this is the circle, if you follow, that will give you better results. The reason behind that, you are not giving your mind or brain a task which is huge. In NLP, there is a concept known as chunking. We use chunking principle as effective principle to get the results. In chunking, what we do, we make the big chunk into small chunk and then work upon it. As I said, if I ask you to read 100 pages in a day, it might be difficult for you. But if I say that at least set out 25 minutes or maybe 10 minutes or whatever time you feel, and then read one page. Now, the moment I say read one page, or at least start with the first line, start with the first paragraph, the moment I say one page, it becomes an easy or manageable task. What they say, you might have heard, how to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. So how we are going to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. We can't eat the entire elephant at one go, one bite at a time. So what are the benefits of this particular principle? Let's understand. Before that, let me show you the sheet which I use for this particular technique. If you want to take a snap of this, you can take it and then you can create an Excel, or you can create a Word file or whatever is suitable to you, or if it is okay, you can write it down. That is perfectly fine. Now 6 o'clock, 6 to 6:25, so 25 minutes task identified could be exercise, and then task completed. You just tick mark that and then move ahead. If at all there is any remark which you would like to put in, then you can put in. Now this is the technique which you can use, like 6 to 8, 10. There is like 2 hours and then there are 4 sprints, and then you are taking 15 minutes break. So including that, in 2 hours, 10 minutes, you are having 4 sprints, and you could do either the same activity or different activities. Because doing the same activity, we might feel bored. So it is better to chunk those activities, and maybe the daytime or time wise, you can segregate those activities and get the better result out of it. What are the benefits? Let's understand the benefits of this particular technique. The first and foremost benefit is there are no mistakes. There are no mistakes at all when we do such kind of things. Then no more wrong estimates, rework, stress, and overtime. We don't do any mistake because we know that I have to do this particular task only for 25 minutes. So just 25 minutes I have to do the task, rest I am free. The moment you have got a big thing, then you feel, what you can say, stress. The moment you know that you only have to work for 25 minutes, it becomes really very easy. Another benefit which we can have out of this particular technique is no more long, exhausting, or useless meetings. The same technique can be used in our corporate life as meetings. Many of you might be aware and might be experiencing those long meetings which are most of the times useless. We simply chit chat, have a cup of tea, coffee, we discuss a lot, and there is no action, which most of the meetings have got a no or low outcome. So either there is no outcome or low outcome as far as these meetings are concerned. So why can't we? So hello friends, welcome back once again, and let's start with the second topic. So in the previous session, we discussed about how we can effectively use our time by chunking down 25 minutes, 5 minutes, 25 minutes, 5 minutes, and then later after taking a break of 15 to 30 minutes, and then you are becoming more and more effective. Now in this particular session, I'm going to talk about two topics, that is decision making and procrastination. My dear friends, every single day we have to take lots and lots of decisions, as you are aware. As you know, we have to take lots of decisions, and then we, at the times, we, uh, feel difficult, we feel uneasy how to take decision, and there are a lot of things by which we may not take a perfect decision. So here there is a rule, 40-70 rule of decision. Sorry. So here I am going to explain the 40-70 rule of decision making. This rule is given by Colin Powell. Who is Colin Powell? You might not be aware. He was U.S. Secretary and Chief in the US government, a retired officer, and he was there as a security chief to the states, United States of America. A very brilliant personality, a fighter, and a politician. So multiple angles, and then later on, as he retired, he wrote a book, and in his one of the book he wrote that whenever he was facing a challenge of decision making, how he used to take a decision making, how basically he used to take decisions on whatever basis. So now we will be understanding his rule of 40-70. Now what is 40-70 rule? There are two steps which he said that in these two steps, if we take decision, the decisions are right. Here on the screen you could see that the right decision is the wrong decision if it is made too late. Now many of you might have experience, or you may connect your own dots. There was a time wherein you wanted there was a time when you wanted to take some decision, and then you took decision, but at a time you felt that it is very wrong timing. You have taken a decision, you have taken a decision at a very wrong time, rather than if you would have taken it earlier, your life could have been different. Many a times we take decision without a proper information, and then we suffer losses. Many times we take decision with lots and lots of information, and in that time span the information is so flooded with us that we are not in a position, or rather I would say we become paralyzed with information, and we can't take decision. So to avoid all this trap, what he said that he let's understand with a method by which we can take right decisions. What is his method? Let's understand the first step. The first step, according to him, is P is equal to 40 to 70. P is equal to 40 to 70. That is step number one. Now, what do we mean by P? P is probability of success, and 40 to 70 is the percentage of information which you have. Now, according to Pauline Cowell, the probability of your being successful is in between 40 to 70% if you are having that much of decision, that much of information, sorry. If you are having less than 40% information in your hand and you take a decision, it would be a disaster. And if you are experiencing, or if you are getting more and more information, and that information goes beyond 70% information, then you are flooded with information, and as I just now said, you become paralyzed with information. You are having so much of information that you actually don't know what to do. Now in the current situation also, we are seeing there is a lot of information about COVID which is going ahead, and then we are flooded with so much of information, but there is no such final output which we could get, and we are currently actually at less than 40%. So we are not getting any result out of it, because we are having less than 40% of the information how to cure that particular disease. So the moment you are having less than 40%, whatever you do, nothing happens. And the moment you ask for some more information, this particular is applicable for corporate, This is particularly applicable for people who are, living in the corporate world. They are having this particular problem, and then they flooded with information, and some of the people, most of the time, they simply don't take a decision, and they at the time just continue with the getting of information and stuff like that. The second step, what he says, that you simply trust your gut feeling and take decision. Trust your gut feeling and take decision. So the moment you have to take your decision, take yourself, consider yourself, listen to the voice, inner voice, and take a decision. It is based on your gut feeling. So it is not based on any other thing, but it is based on your own gut feeling how to take a decision. Most of the cases, the gut feeling, whatever is saying, is perfectly fine. Most of the cases, the gut feeling, whatever we are getting, is perfectly fine, and that's the reason we have to listen to our own inner voice. Many times we do not listen to it, and we feel that if I listen to this, what will happen? My dear friends, nothing happens. The moment you listen to your inner voice, that is the area wherein you can take your life to the next level. So you can take your life to the next level just by having a trust on your own self, trust on your own gut feeling. Another thing is that many a times we are having a fear that if I trust my own gut feeling, my gut feeling says that instead of going for an engineering, let me do an arts. My inner voice is saying let me do this, but I feel burden of the society, family members and friends, that what they will say if I take engineering, or if I take arts rather than engineering. But your gut feeling is saying something and you are acting some different thing. My dear friends, the result would be totally different, totally disaster. So always it is better to trust your own gut feeling and take decision. Percent information in your hand, and then you take action. And the probability of you becoming successful is based on what information you have, what action you take, and what is your gut feeling. So that was for the decision making part. Let's move on to the procrastination. Lot many of you might be having this particular issue of procrastination. Lot many of you might be thinking about uh, uh, yeah, I could see some people are talking about they are missing certain part. I have recorded the thing. If possible, the recording is happening, then I will be sharing it, or I will be putting it on YouTube, and then you can watch. I can share the link as well. So as of now, let's focus on this part, procrastination. If you see the dictionary meaning of it, the action of ruining your life for no apparent reason. So it is an action by which we ruin our life for no reason. So are you procrastinating? Are you putting it further? Many a times we have got this particular tendency. Like I was grown up by always telling by my parent that kal kare so aaj kare so ab. And that was the mindset which got cultivated over a period of time, that whatever we have to do tomorrow, let's do it today, and whatever I have to do today, let's do it right now. So kal kare so aaj kare so ab. And that is the teaching which I got, that is the learning which I got. And nowadays, if you see, I was just sharing the same thing with one of the group as a MBA students they were, and one of the students said that, sir, that is an outdated saying. In today's world, what we say is aaj kare so kal kare so parso. आज करे सो कल करे सो परसों, इतनी भी क्या जल्दी है, जीना है हमें बरसों. So whatever is there, let's do it tomorrow and tomorrow. So the tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow absolutely never comes, and that is where we face a lot of problem. So how to avoid procrastination, that is what we are going to study in this particular uh, session. So if you see, I also have got a slide for you. Let's learn the remaining part tomorrow, because now I am in a mood of procrastination. I feel that why to give this lecture today? Let me give it tomorrow, or let me give it some other day, or let me give it on some day, maybe Sunday, or let me give it in the evening because right now I am busy. Stuff like that. So, jokes apart, let's understand how to, go for it. Here you could see a picture of Susie Welch. She's a wife of late Jack Welch, whole and soul of GE, General Electric. And Susie developed a principle by which we can always avoid the procrastination. And what is that principle and how the things goes for? Now, before going ahead, I would like to know from you, what are the reasons for which you procrastinate? You decide something that I need to do uh, reading, say 100 pages reading or 10 pages reading a day, but you put it tomorrow. Or you decide that let me do exercise but I will do it from tomorrow, or let me start writing a diary but I will do it tomorrow. So every time you put it for tomorrow, what is your reason or what is your favorite reason you give yourself and you procrastinate? So just type, if you could type what is your reason for procrastination, that would be great for me. Let me see why people are putting procrastination. So I'm expecting certain answers from people. What is your reason? Why you procrastinate? Why you put things further? Lack of motivation. Okay. No mood. Okay. Boring work. Okay. Some other priorities come in between. And that is where you actually can use 25-5 principle, because the moment you focus on 25-5 principles, 25 minutes you are not going to be disturbed at all cost. Other priorities. Okay, any other reasons for procrastination? Anybody? All right. Distractions. Yes, there are so many distractions, not productive. Okay, perfect. Now let's move ahead and understand some basic principles. And before that, let me give you a couple of incidents. Here there is a person known as Raju, and this particular Raju is working in an organization where you could see his boss is shouting at him because he is not doing work properly or stuff like that. And Raju actually is a hard working guy. He's working very hard in the organization, and at the same time he deserves promotion. That is what is his inner feeling, that I deserve promotion, I deserve better life, I deserve better designation. And that is why Raju is saying that let me ask for a raise, let me ask for a salary increment to my boss. But out of fear, out of frustration, or out of a kind of what my boss will say, he never asked for a promotion. Another picture, you could see a lady known as Susan, just for the sake of example. She always want to go for a gym, but all the time she is putting an excuse that let me go tomorrow, or let me start from Monday, or let me start from first of the month, or let me start from 1st January. And on top of it, you, if you could read this particular slide, what she's saying, didn't go to the gym today, but the cashier's name at the McDonald's was Jim. So the same thing. So it is okay for her to go to McD and eat a burger and meet a person known as Jim. And then she is saying that instead of going to the gym, at least I met a Jim, known Jim as a cashier, and ate burger with him. Now, another story, a person, a young person who is an MBA graduate and who is in love with one of the beautiful girl in his class, but out of fear, out of tension, out of lack of confidence, he is not in a position to tell her inner voice to the girl. What will happen? What will happen if I propose her? Will she say yes? Will she say no? Or will she agree to my point? Or will she disagree to my point? There are lot of things which are going on in his mind, and that is the reason he is not doing anything. And all these three stories, maybe not the same, but the similar kind of things might be happening to you, and you are always procrastinating. And what are you procrastinating? The book which you want to write, the gym which you want to join, a simple phone call to your friend that I want to talk to him yaar, but okay, kabhi na kabhi karenge, or a book which you always wanted to read and now you are having a time. Where is that book? Are you reading it? Or even the movie which you wanted to watch long time back but you are not watching it. So there are so many things which we might be procrastinating at time. Now please understand, if you are procrastinating, if you are doing all these things, what will happen? Will it be a good thing for your life? Definitely not. So Susie Wells came up with a principle known as 10-10-10 principle. A very beautiful principle I came across, and I love the concept. What she is saying, see on the screen, you are here today, 10 minutes, 10 months, and 10 years. Now, before procrastinating anything, before putting off anything, you simply ask three questions. What will happen if I do this after 10 minutes? What will happen after 10 months? And what will happen after 10 years? So just think about, if you do this. For example, the Raju who was working as an executive, if he asked for a promotion, what will happen? He instantly took action. He went to the boss cabin and said, boss, I am working so hard, please grant me promotion. And then he provide all the related documents and all the evidences in front of the boss, saying that how hard he is working. What will happen after 10 minutes? After 10 minutes, either he will be granted no and he might feel embarrassed, or he might be said yes, let us think about your promotion. So after 10 minutes, either there will be some positive or some negative thing will be happening. After 10 months, if at all the boss might have said no, after 10 months, the Raju would have been maybe in a different position, in a different organization, or he might have forgotten that once upon a time a boss said no to his promotion. But imagine after 10 months, if at all he would have taken decision and the boss would have said yes to his promotion, after 10 months he would be in a better position with better money in his pocket. And after 10 years, maybe the rejection which he got from his boss, he might not even recollect. Or if at all there was a yes from his boss, after 10 years, his life would be totally different. So, my dear friends, think whenever you are having a dilemma kind of thing, ask these three questions. So 10 minutes, how will you feel about the decision 10 minutes afterwards? How will you feel about the decision 10 minutes, 10 months after? And how will you feel about the decision 10 years after? So the moment you want to do something, you want to ask somebody some help, after 10 minutes, either the person will grant you help or he will deny. After 10 months, you might even forget that somebody denied, or after 10 months, you will be a different person because somebody helped you. And after 10 years, either if you were granted the permission to help, get the help, you will be a different person altogether, or after 10 years, there would be nothing because you will even forget that you asked somebody and somebody didn't help you. Are you remembering any memory of 10 years back? Do you remember what happened in 2010 in this particular month? Maybe not. Whom you interacted, what you talked, you simply forgot. Forget about 10 years, 10 months back, what happened to you. Do you recollect whom you met, what you did? You may have not even recollected, because that is the way we delete lot many information from our mind, because that we feel that it is not important. So this 10-10-10 rule acts very well. You want to go to gym, you don't go to gym. What will happen after 10 minutes? Imagine you take action, you took action and you go for a gym. What will happen? After 10 minutes of that action is over, you will feel happy, energetic and motivated that yes, I have taken uh, action and I went for a gym, I did exercise for half an hour and now I am feeling better. So after taking action, a positive action, after 10 minutes, you are actually better. After 10 months, your health would be totally different. And after 10 years, you will be far, far, far better as far as your health is concerned. But imagine the exactly opposite scenario. You wanted to go to gym or you wanted to do exercise. After 10 minutes, what will happen? You have not taken action. You want to go for a gym or you want to do exercise, but after 10 minutes of not doing gym or exercise, what will happen? Immediately instant gratification will happen. Yes, I am enjoying my life, I am watching TV, I am eating popcorn, or I am doing some time pass, I am happy. So after 10 minutes it is going to give you instant satisfaction. After 10 months what will happen? You are not doing any exercise, you are not doing any gym, any yoga. After 10 minutes your body will be in a different shape, which is not desirable. And after 10 years, without doing any gym, exercise, or yoga, after 10 years, what will happen? The things would be totally, totally different and disastrous. So, my dear friends, whenever you are having any issue, just remember before procrastination, ask these three questions to yourself: 10 minutes, 10 months, and 10 years. What will happen? If I take decision or if I don't take decision, what will happen to me? And the moment you get these particular decisions, these particular answers, nothing like it. So in today's scenario, in today's webinar, we have covered 25 5 rules for managing time, 40-70 rule for decision making, and 10-10-10 rule for procrastination.